to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. Yes! What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network at our new time. No, just kidding. Our normal time. Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are back. I am healthy. I had a sickness that got me in every part of my body. I powered through last week when we did our MLB special. But now I am healthy. We are back on a Monday where we should be. Normal time here on Monday Night Rants. Follow me along. Right now, it is the fourth quarter. We are following along with the women's NCAA tournament. Caitlin Clark is going off right now. Yes, in the chat, I see that. 75-67 over LSU. Iowa change that. 77-67, a 10-point lead with 6:46 to go. Looks like the revenge game narrative after last year's loss to LSU in the championship is here on the way to the Final Four for Caitlin Clark. But can anyone beat South Carolina? I don't know. It's going to be a tough cookie. So the tournament's been good. The NCAA tournament men's has been good. The women's has been good. Overall, I think a good year for the NCAA March Madness. I, myself, if you haven't been following along on MondayNightRants.com, MondayNightRants.com, I've been betting against the spread on every single game. I bet on the spread on every single game of the men's tournament. How am I faring? Well, how about this? I am 39-21. What? 39-21 with 3 games to go. More on this a little later because I will give you my picks for this upcoming weekend. High spreads for a Final Four. High spreads. But more on that a little later. So I've been crushing it, even though I've been sick. Kind of got ruined. I didn't have my normal watch party to watch all the games. Had a fever for 3 days, and I had a sinus infection for 4 days. I had a headache behind my eye. My eyeballs were hurting for like 4 days after that, too. It was a 7-8 day affair here. Wasn't COVID. Tested twice. Just whatever my daughter gave me from daycare. She had it, too. But in 3 days, she's fine. And she had to stay out of school all week, too. So I'm sitting there with a fever, hurting, and having to watch her. It was fun. Being a dad is great. It is great. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of fun. So what a show we have for you tonight. We're going to be obviously following along the Caitlin Clark watch here. 5 minutes left. I'll let you know how that pans out. She's going on. We will have Matt Selz, who wasn't on our show last week when we did the MLB preview. So I'm going to ask him about some of his bold predictions and kind of some of the things we've seen so far. We have 3 undefeated teams left in MLB, and 2 of them are surprising. Very. One of them is really surprising. So talk to him about that. We'll check in on his new love of soccer, see how he's doing there. And a couple of NASCAR notes and news we're going to talk about with him as well. Some exciting stuff this week coming from Fantasy Alarm in that aspect. And then at the end of the night, from FanDuel Studios in Hollywood, Tyler Heavy T. Soto will be joining. He hasn't written a blog in a couple weeks. He does have a new one in his Inept franchise series that will be coming out tonight. And we'll be talking about that. It is the Seattle Mariners. and how inept they are. And I kind of agree. They've had superstars on their team throughout the years. I mean, absolute superstars, and never, ever once was able to put down a World Series. And at one time, they had the best record in all of baseball ever, and they were unable to put down a World Series as well. So we'll talk to him about that live from FanDuel. Coming up here in about half an hour with him. Matt Selz will be on in about 14 minutes. So a quickie tonight, a quickie but goodie. We're going to have some fun. It is April Fool's. I don't believe in all that stuff. Like, I wanted to stay off Twitter today. I wanted to stay off Twitter. I wanted to stay off every social media platform because I didn't believe a single word I was given. Because it's all, everyone trying to do their cute April Fool's jokes. It's kind of overplayed. Let's be real. You don't agree with me? Come fight me. It's overplayed. April Fool's is dumb. But I hope everybody had a really good Easter yesterday with your families. I smoked a lamb leg and had my family over, and I went, and my daughter had like 8 Easter egg hunts between everywhere. So she had a ball. I mean, she didn't care what was in the eggs. She just wanted as many as she could possibly put in her basket. And believe me, she got a lot. Now I have to realize what I'm going to do with all these plastic eggs. Can you donate them? I don't even know. But I had a ton of eggs here. a ton. Maybe save them for next year. But they're not going to be in next year. Whatever. With that being said, let's move into tonight's rant lines. We got some good ones today. We do. We talked about the Final Four. The Final Four is set in the NCAA men's tournament. The women's tournament will know who's all in at the end of tonight. An interesting development here in the men's Final Four is that these 4 teams, 2 of them were Chalk City. Although a lot of people were off on Purdue because last year they obviously were a number 1 seed. They lost to 16th Fairleigh Dickinson, and they're like, oh. Remember, Virginia lost to a number 1 seed in the next year. They won the whole damn thing. So Purdue's kind of looks like they're on that same pathways of Virginia a few years ago. Then you got UConn, which nobody's surprised they've been dominating this NCAA tournament. And then you got Alabama, who we talked about on the show. They could play some offense, man. They're the highest scoring offensive team per game average in the NCAA this year, all season. However, their defense is terrible. But they've done just enough defensively to make their offense prosper, including a big game against North Carolina, which I didn't see coming. Clemson makes a little sense because Clemson was kind of a surprise team for me too, because they're a very up and down team. They'll have these wonderful games and then lose 3 in a row. In the chat, I'd rather watch the West play-in tournament than the Final Four. Okay. But NC State is the talk of the town. You got Burns here. This dude, if you haven't watched Burns, he's a good player. He's a big guy. Really big guy. But he just he's a ball of energy. And a really good just demeanor about him. That he's been fun to watch. I bet against NC State the first 2 games of the tournament. Because come on. They played their way in. They did great in their conference tournament run. It was a great story, but nah. But here we are. Now I've been betting with them the last 2, and I've been winning. I don't know how I'm going to bet on this weekend. I'll let you know in a little bit here on this game, because the one thing I wanted to bring out here, though, is that these big men for these teams are literally been the stars, been the defining moments of everything. Obviously, Edey is having a tournament of a lifetime, one of the best tournaments from a player we've ever seen, if not the best. He is dominating. Offensively, defensively, blocks, everything. Edey is on a mission, and his mission is to win the NCAA tournament. He's averaging 30 points a game, including the 40-pointer against Tennessee yesterday. He's averaging 1.8 blocks per game and 16.3 rebounds a game. Edey is on fire. On fire. And the rest of the team has been playing great against, or not with him. Painter has done a wonderful job of knowing when they double team down low, we're going out to our guards, and the guards have been making shots. Gillis is a great 6-man. Purdue is still my favorite to win this tournament. I think they have the best team. But you can't deny against UConn. Now, they have a big man in UConn who's been playing out of his mind. And that is Donovan Clingan. And Clingan's been playing unbelievable too. He's averaging 15.8. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game. And get this, he's averaging 3-point blocks a game in this tournament. The defense for the big man is showing up. And we talked about DJ Burns. We'll talk about it again. He's averaging 18.3. Only 5 rebounds a game. But he's averaging 1 block a game as well. Plus his assist. He's averaging 3.5 assists per game. And on the other side for Alabama, out of nowhere, Grant Nelson. That's right, Grant Nelson, another big man, came up with a huge game that no one saw coming against UNC. He took Baycott out of the game. He went on for 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks against number 1 North Carolina. All the big men for these teams are the reason why they are in the Final Four. Finally, we see some big man action here in college basketball. It's not just the guards. It's not just this. It's not just that. It's all of this. And what's funny is today, or yesterday, I'm sorry, this came out, speaking of Burns, that our boy, DJ Burns, is being discussed by the NFL GMs whether he could be an NFL player. Now, it's a real thing. He's a big man. I don't know what he would play. Defensive lineman, maybe. A little undersized for an offensive lineman, so maybe a D line. But his motor is insane. It would just be interesting. He is 6'9", 275 pounds. It would make him one of the tallest players in NFL history. He'd have to bulk up a little bit because most linemen, most defensive linemen, offensive linemen get to like the 300-pound mark. But it's just funny how he's being focused for football now when he is a basketball star. Now, we've seen basketball stars go to the NFL and become some of the greatest tight ends we've ever seen. Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. Now, this is not a tight end we're looking at here. It's bigger. So I just kind of found it kind of interesting how this run that NC State is on has made Burns a topic of conversation to maybe go to the NFL, because I don't think the NBA will be a place for him. So why not go see what you have there? You have literally nothing to lose. So love that. Real quick, my picks. Currently, the spread is -9.5 for Purdue over NC State and 11.5 for UConn over Alabama. These are two of the biggest spreads we've seen in a Final Four in over a decade for both games combined. I am doing this, and again, my record speaks for itself. I am 39-21 in the entire tournament against the spread. I am taking the 9.5 for Purdue. I think Edey is too much. I think the run ends here for NC State. However, because of the offense of Alabama being able to keep up with UConn, having the best offense in the nation, I'm taking the plus 11.5, and I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. I think UConn still wins the game. But giving me almost 12 against two teams that are better seeded than NC State versus Purdue, I'm taking it all day, every day. So I do my write-up on MyNightRants.com for the Final Four. It will be Alabama covering at plus 11.5 with UConn still winning. And I will take Purdue to win by -9.5. NC State, the run stops here. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball with Matt Selz here shortly, but we had our first weekend here, so we got a glimpse of what these teams can be. Spring training can only tell you so much. What we have here is some surprise teams. We have 3 undefeated teams in Major League Baseball. I know, Edward, it's the first week and they play 162 games. We got to look at it. It's sports. The Yankees swept the Houston Astros to everyone's surprise. And Juan Soto decides he wants to be an MVP candidate. Why do you do this on my Padres, Juan Soto? Fair enough. The Brewers sweeping 3-0. Okay. The Brewers have been in playoff contention. We get it. The biggest surprise is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Undefeated. And doing it very well. And they got Skeens will probably come up. Their pitching's terrible. Very, very bad. But it's working. Their offense is clicking. It's a good young team. Brian Haynes is actually healthy for Pittsburgh. And remember, we talked about this division between the Brewers and the Cubs, who I still like the Cubs in this division. We'll talk to Matt Selz about that. But it's hard not to root for the Pirates and see what they're doing. They're kind of young and exciting. So I know it's a short sample size. Very short. But I like it. And I like it a lot. Moving over to the NFL, and I got something I want to show you here too with this. The kickoff change rule. I think for the most part, what I read, what I see out there from everybody is that they like it. There's a lot of people that don't like it because it's not traditional football. Well, we saw traditional football kickoffs last year and they sucked. The highest touchback rate in NFL history. Nobody wants to run it back. You just get the ball. They're fair catching it. The 10. It's stupid. The one thing that the XFL has done right are these kickoffs. So the ball will be kicked from the 35-yard line. So it's the same as the current rule. And safety kicks will be kicked from the 20. Okay. So these players will line up at the 35-yard line, 5-10 yards apart from each other, like you see here in this picture. The kicker will kick the ball, and they cannot move until the returner receives the ball in his catch area, which you can see that little red square there. In the catch area, then they can move. Okay? They can't move until he has the ball or it goes in the end zone. The landing zone is in the area between the receiving goal line and its 20-yard line. So he has 20 yards to produce. Now, if it hits the end zone and stays in bounds, it's still a touchback. However, you get a little bit of punished a little bit. You get it at the 20-yard line. So what the NFL is doing is getting rid of injuries, but at the same time, making sure kickoffs are still kind of exciting because you got to run the ball to get those extra yards. And there's no more fair catch signals. That's done. But they're ruining the onside kick. Well, okay. Onside kicks over the last years have been lower and lower and lower. The last exciting one we saw was in the Super Bowl when the Saints did it coming out of halftime against the Colts. Boo. Philly Phelps says they should do a toss-up wrestling match like they did the original XFL. They did a wrestling match in the first NFL, but that was to see who got the ball first. That was the coin toss. And that was absolutely insane. We're going to see here is teams get creative. I'm going to show you this. This is what the Battlehawks did. So this is the same kickoff rule here. Let me get rid of my thing here. This is the Battlehawks. Can I make this full screen? And here's what they did. In the XFL, these new kickoff rules. You see how the kicker kicks it alone over here. And you got all the teams lined up here, and they cannot move until the receiver catches the ball. We're going to see more of this in the NFL. And there's going to be teams like the Tush Push that are really better at this than others. And it's going to make it for exciting. So let's check this out. I like this.
XFL kickoffs, they look different. Kicker from the 30. Return team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the
run.
ball
Now watch
fielded.
this.
And here goes
Boom!
Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around with room on the near side. And for the first time, they get creative. And the Battlehawks have the sideline and a kickoff return for Joe Powell to the end.
I love that. Absolutely love that. We need more of that. So that's kind of how the kickoff will work. Will look just like that. You're going to have the teams lining up. You're going to have the kicker.
Keith Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around. XFL kickoffs, they look different.
Line up like this.
Kicker from the 30.
Can't
Return
move.
team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the ball is fielded. And here goes Keith Mumphrey.
With some
and
fun stuff going on here. Love
with
it.
room on the near.
So, I love it. The NFL has done a lot of things to change over the years. They've done a lot of things to go down on injuries. Obviously, this is one of them. But it's just a new strategy that teams have to adjust to. A better strategy. Kickoffs won't be so boring. I don't even watch kickoffs. I don't care. Punting's even worse. No one returns punts anymore. They just all fair catch too. It's crazy. But I don't say the same. But I like it. I like the new kickoff rule. I like it. It's going to make it for more fun. More interesting plays, gadget plays, reverses, like we just saw that the Battlehawks did when the rule was first implemented in the XFL. So let's not whine about change, because sometimes change is good. We did the same thing about baseball. Oh, the clock, the bags are too big. There's going to be stolen bases. And then last year, a weekend, the games are shorter. They're more exciting. I don't know. Yeah, duh. You're the same person 2 weeks ago complaining about it. Stop complaining about change. Now, the hip drop tackle rule, I'm not even going to get into that tonight. That's for another day. That changes the game in a different aspect because of the way the rule is written, one, because there's no clarification there. It's kind of a weird gray area about how the ref can choose kind of his discretion if it's a hip drop or not. That's going to be, excuse my French here on my Night Rants, an absolute shit show, like the 1 year we had, you could review defensive pass interference. That lasted 1 year, by the way. It's going to be similar to that. So I'm interested to see kind of how that all plays out and all that good stuff. But for the most part, I think the kickoffs is going to be a good old time, a good old-fashioned time here in the NFL. All right. Joining me now. He hasn't been on in a while. I can see him backstage. He's rocking a Washington Nationals hat. This is his team. Ask him about that. Now, he wasn't on last week for the MLB special, so I have a few questions about the MLB for him. So we're talking about some MLB. Maybe he has his own impressions of the kickoff rule. We'll ask him. But my boy, your friend, Matt Selz.
What's up, folks?
What is going on, Mr. Selz? How was your Easter?
It was good. It was good. I actually, we had friends over to watch the Man City Arsenal game, which turned out to be a dud. But
it was a great game for me, my friend. Great game for me.
Well, yeah, because you all got the result earlier in the day. And then one of our friends, their kid had never done an Easter egg hunt. So during
what?
Halftime,
hold on.
They do Easter differently.
How old is this kid?
Like 7.
Holy shit.
They do it differently. They give him clues to find his gift. So like he wakes up and he gets a clue. And then he's got to go to where that clue says there's another clue. So that's kind of a cool thing, right? But they apparently don't do Easter egg hunts. So this was, unbeknownst to me, his first.
So you're waking up this kid who's been in full slumber and you asked him to do a trivia contest?
Well, no, it's like a riddle. It's like a
solve a mystery to get your prize.
I mean, he seems to enjoy it. It seems like a cool idea.
Okay.
So to each their own, whatevs. But we had an Easter egg hunt.
And how did this kid feel about his first ever Easter egg hunt?
He was very excited.
I bet. Yeah.
He did not realize that the eggs were filled with candy, so he was even more excited when he found that out.
Then he got even more excited. But by the way, it's over. Iowa's up 92-82 with 35 seconds left.
Outstanding.
Caitlin Clark is going to the Final Four. My prediction of South Carolina, she is not. And she'll probably announce after she's actually going to the WNBA or not, in what's going to be the biggest WNBA draft year of all time. She should probably go. But
yeah, counter to probably the worst NBA draft class in a very long time.
Last year's was terrible.
I'm hearing rumors that this year's
take Wemby out of it last year. The rest after Wemby.
Well, you get a one-legged Filipowski who just got like destroyed by DJ Burns, so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
He's literally an amputee, right? That's what happened. They stormed the court. The guy lost a leg. He played 2 days later.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's great. No, I think this year will be a little bit better. Last year was really bad. Like me and Thomas had to cover it for work, and we're the whole time we're talking to each other like this draft sucks. Like Scoot Henderson is like one of the worst number 2 picks of all time already. Like it's terrible. Anyways, enough about the NBA. We're gonna do NBA next week because we're gonna talk about the playoffs and all that good stuff. We did our MLB show last week. Obviously, you do a MLB show on Fantasy Alarm every week, along with NASCAR, and you're the prospect man, the man of prospects, who helped me dominate my dynasty leagues, and hopefully you out there watching too. Some news broke today. I kind of want to ask you about before we get into some of your bold predictions and whatnot. Can we talk about what the hell the A's are doing and why they can deserve to not play Estuis Ruiz when they're literally a AAA team already?
He's making the rest of the team look bad.
What is happening? Can you explain to me this situation? He's literally their best player.
I don't. The David Forst, who I guess is the GM. I know so little about the A's. I'm not even sure I know the GM, but I'm pretty sure he's the GM.
They just brought him down to he played 2 games. He actually did pretty well in those 2 games.
Yeah, he's hitting 429.
And they said, "Oh no, okay, we've seen enough. You're going to AAA. Your best player, people."
You know what? He's testing the waters because their AAA team is in Vegas. So he's testing the waters. He's finding a building site for the stadium. That's what he's doing.
Okay. He's undercover.
Speedily find a building site and then rush back to Oakland.
So what is everybody who drafted Estuis Ruiz obviously for a stolen basis? What do you do already? What do you do? Like I have him in I have him in the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational. I'm not gonna lie, he was my stolen base guy. And obviously I can't make a move till next Sunday now. So what the hell do I do? Like it's insane what the A's are doing. Like they have to be the worst run baseball franchise in baseball. It's not even close.
It's there's like a 3 like I'm gonna say 4 teams that are probably in this group.
Okay, name them.
Cleveland.
Okay,
for the shocker, because when we go through the guys they've traded away and then didn't add to their roster, like they traded Junior Caminero to the Rays, didn't add anything to their
more roster. On him later this season, but yeah,
they traded Nolan Jones
to the Rockies.
Another worst run organization who basically gave away Nolan Arenado for peanuts. And then instead of paying Nolan Arenado, gave that money to an off-injured, never playing, terrible Chris Bryant. Right?
Yeah. I totally forgot about it. I forgot he exists.
Yeah. You got the A's.
So the A's, the Rockies,
the Angels in there.
Oh, Angels are bad right now. Like really bad. Like poor Heavy T, who will be on it in a little bit. Live from the FanDuel studios. He was all excited. He was tweeting. He was like, it's opening day. I got my hot dog. I'm ready to go. And they got the Orioles just shit on him, man.
Trout hit a baseball tonight, the farthest I've ever seen a baseball hit.
Nice. Well, yeah, but he was also the only one who had a hit opening day.
It literally went out of like over everything in center field in Miami. It
went to the old Marlin statue which, by the way, they should have never got rid of that thing. That thing was so incredibly cheesily awesome.
It went over that. It went 473 feet to dead center in Miami with, I'm pretty sure, the roof closed.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
But what did the rest of the team do, Matt Selz? Nothing.
They tied it. They put up 4 runs. It was tied when he hit that. So,
So you have Anthony Rendon batting leadoff, which is just
that guy is
terrible. At least you might as well just throw Zach Nato at leadoff to see what he can do. Not bat him 8th or 9th like to do it now. Like it's very pathetic.
But I don't know. I don't know why the A's sent Ruiz down.
Stupid.
They said he needs to take better at bats. He's hitting 429. They said he needs to get on base consistently to use his speed.
And they've only played him in 2 games because it's like you didn't play him, so how could he get on base consistently if you didn't play him? And those 2 games you did,
on the team is hitting.
And those 2 games you did play him, he got on base and already has 2 stolen bases. I don't get it. It's dumb. But enough about the A's. I know we have some A's fans watching right now, and I'm sorry, guys. I really am. But good luck in Las Vegas or Utah or wherever the hell you guys end up.
Yeah, Vegas doesn't want you though. By the way, like
No,
Vegas
yeah, that's a whole
like,
story in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think you should work out how to stay in Oakland. Ooh,
Where?
that's
Where? You gonna play in that crappy stadium?
I mean,
That
in fairness,
stadium of
Oakland
death.
has offered them like 3 different spots.
No one wants to live in Oakland. No one wants to play in Oakland.
I mean, that's why the Warriors left.
Yeah, Oakland sucks. It's a terrible city.
By the way, how petty are the Warriors that they built the stadium directly across the bay from their old stadium? So like the Oakland fans literally had to watch it get built and then move within eyesight,
and then have to pay to go see to cross the bridge and go see games and go to traffic. And I guess you could take the BART. Wanted to.
Does anybody want to though?
I don't know what happens on the BART nowadays. I live close to San Francisco. I just don't go anymore because I just remember Escape from LA with Kurt Russell? Or Escape from I kind of pictured San Francisco as that is my head now in Oakland, where it's just all fenced off and that's where all the criminals are. So I don't even go in there.
Yeah, the Bay Area rapid transit is not worth your time.
Everybody, so many of my fans are Bay Area fans. They hate me for that, but I don't care because it's true. It's true, and you live in Fresno. So enjoy your one day every couple months you go see a Giants game. All right. 3 teams are undefeated in Major League Baseball. Matt Selz.
Yes.
I want you to give me your obviously short sample size here. I want you to give me your excitement level for each one. I'm going to start with the obvious, the Yankees. Yep. They did sweep the Houston Astros.
That was pretty nice.
And Juan Soto is doing what he didn't do with the Padres, acting like an MVP candidate.
Just pause for a second that like Yankees fans are just now finding out how good Juan Soto is.
Yeah, because Yankees fans live in a bubble, Matt Selz.
Like if they're not if he's not in their orbit or in their league, they had no idea how this is this generation's Ted Williams.
Yeah, no, he's great, but with the Padres, he kind of
He did. That was. I feel sorry for you because I got the good part of Juan Soto and you didn't.
We got the bridge, yeah. But now he's played out of his mind. I like the Verdugo signing. I thought that was a good signing.
Yes.
No Garrett Cole. I like Clark Schmidt. I think he's going to have a really good year, kind of as a low key pitcher for the Yankees. But I don't think it lasts. I think their pitching is going to get in trouble. They need more bats in that lineup.
Luis Gil cannot be your number 3 starter.
No.
Not gonna
work. Going to work. So I think they can still make the playoffs, but I don't see them winning. Obviously, I think the Orioles are the best team in the AL, period. Let alone the AL East. It's going to be a tough division. And the Red Sox look like they're going to be a better team this year.
They're competent, that's for sure.
The Orioles are just so damn good. And you can never count out the Rays because they just somehow have these guys that you've never heard of that come up and just produce. It is crazy. And Low.
They have
don't count out Low.
IL rotation in baseball.
They do have the best IL rotation. And Low this year, I think, is a bounce back candidate to have a really good year. He's already proven it already in the first weekend. Okay, Milwaukee Brewers, undefeated. I like the Cubs. I really like the Cubs this year to be a bounce back team.
I think the Cubs win the division. I know there's a bunch of Brewers fans that are going, oh, look at Greg Counsell sucking up. They played the world champs. The Brewers, congratulations, but you got in a bar fight with Rhys Hoskins and the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets look bad.
The
Mets look bad, and I'm sorry, the Mets are going to have a rough year. The
Mets are going to have
a really rough year.
And their dancers are obnoxious.
Why? Why are their dancers obnoxious?
Have you seen them? They didn't
No.
They're like there's clips all over.
Is Edwin what's his face back? So I have to hear the.
Yeah, they're like NBA dancers dancing on top of a dugout in the middle of a baseball game. I'm sorry if I paid money for those seats. I'm kneecapping the dancers. I'm sorry.
All right, the Brewers. Do they have a chance to make the playoffs? It's gonna be tough. I think 3 teams could come out of the NL West.
I don't like the Brewers pitching, and I know I got into a debate on X with a Twitter fan or with a Brewers fan who was like, well, Freddie Peralta was better than anybody else the last time we won the division and our team was this bad. Okay, but Freddie Peralta was on that team. So you can't count him as being better. He's just elevated.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of your pitching is not. And also, by the way, you don't have Craig Counsell to manage that.
Fair.
That was Craig Counsell's skill set, was you could put anybody on a roster and he would figure out how to make it work, like Joe Madden, right? Now he's 45 minutes out with the Cubs, and he'll figure that out.
I really like the Cubs this year. I think they made great offseason moves. I really like that team.
The NL West is flat out loaded.
Except for Colorado. Take Colorado out of it. Colorado is,
I don't think the Dodgers win the division.
Really? Which one of the three? I think the
Diamondbacks win the division.
I think four. I could see 4 teams making the playoffs out of the NL West this year. 4.
I mean, I don't think
Padres,
it's mathematically possible, but
it is, right? Because there's 3 wild card.
That's true.
Like somebody between the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants, and all those teams are better this year, except for the Padres. Okay. But there's
So I think the Diamondbacks win the division.
Okay.
Here's why. Through June 13th of last year, the Diamondbacks had the best record in the NL. Not the NL West, the NL. They got number 1
They got better in the offseason, too.
They were the number 1 seed through June 13th.
Eugenio Suarez is an underrated pickup. I think that's going to be huge for them. They got better.
Through the middle of July, they were beating the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Right? The Dodgers pitching staff sucks. I'm sorry. It doesn't suck. It's unproven. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yamamoto.
Glass now is proven when he's not hurt. He's been an absolute stud.
Okay, but the 120 innings that Glass now pitched last year are a career high.
Is Walker Buehler will be back this year at some point, right?
Maybe, but is he the ace Buehler? Or is he the guy who kind of lost all of the velocity and ability to strike people out?
Is he the ace Buehler or the one that takes a day off from school? I don't know.
Yeah, or the one who wears the tightest pants in the history.
He does. And which makes me worried about these new Fanatics uniforms with his tight pants, because you're going to be able to see everything.
Kershaw is coming back at some point, but how much do you get?
I don't trust him whatsoever.
Is Gavin Stone going to hold down the 5th spot? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of questions about
The rotation has questions, yes. But their offense their offense is insane.
Sure.
And they're not paying them anything because they just defer them all.
But I will contend that their offense was as good last year as it is this year. And the Diamondbacks still had the jump on them for 2/3 of the season, and the Diamondbacks got better.
Well, they did add Ohtani this year as a DH, so that's going to help their offense a little bit.
Assuming he doesn't get suspended for gambling.
And then I think the Teoscar Hernandez pickup was a great pickup. So arguably, I'd say they're actually better.
Okay, but their pitching staff is worse.
Their pitching staff, I will admit, is a weakness.
But you're relying on Joe Kelly to get to your closer? No, sorry.
Which is what, Evan Phillips now?
Maybe.
Because Bratterall, whatever his name is, Buspar,
he's injured.
Gratterall's injured. And,
Kershaw's injured. Like everybody, like Emmett Sheehan's injured.
Hey, if you just score more runs than the other opponent, you're going to win games more than you lose.
Right,
that's
but here's the problem.
What they're building.
They got to face the Padres. Have a pretty good rotation.
They got a great rotation and a really good bullpen thanks to the Juan Soto.
And when the Diamondbacks rotation is healthy, when they have Eduardo Rodriguez back and they get Jordan Montgomery on the mound, it is the deepest starting 5 in baseball.
I love myself some fat too. Get some fat and credit,
is
baby.
Their 5th starter.
He's
the guy
a
who shut out the Phillies in a must-have Game 7 on the road is your.
And look at the Giants as well. They have injured pitchers that are coming back that are going to make their rotation better
now
too.
Their offense is more questionable than the other ones.
They are, but they made really good additions to that offense too. I think.
But in their ballpark, you don't need the offense. You need to string together hits, which they're really good at doing.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So. It's going to be a horse race, but I think the Diamondbacks, who went to the World Series and got the jump on the Dodgers for 2/3 of the season last year and got better, are getting undersold. Their over-under on wins this year were 84.5.
The Diamondbacks? We'll take
They
the over
won
on
that many last year, and they added 2 new pitchers and a Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, and Corbin Carroll, you got to think is going to be better in his second year here as well. So yeah, though I like this. You want to bring Heavy T on so you could talk crap on his Angels to him?
I actually feel bad for Angels fans, though, to be honest.
Heavy T's like, he has 20 minutes, so we got to bring him on, and he wants to talk about his Seattle Mariners inept franchise too as well, which we could talk to you about as well. Heavy T live from FanDuel Studios.
Yeah. So look, the Angels just won today. Comeback win from the Marlins. Mike Trout hits like a 450,000-foot bomb
That
goes
up. Yeah, dude. No, we're 2-2. We're okay. Those first games were awful, but we're 2-2 so far.
Really, really came in handy, right?
I mean, yeah.
A closed door meeting 2 games into the season.
Which I mean,
it's crap.
I guess you're gonna do it sooner than later, but like, I don't know, man. It's like like you said, a two-door or a closed door meeting 2 games in is absolutely wild. So it's shake off the rust. We're good.
We didn't talk about the undefeated teams. Colby
Pittsburgh
Conway's Pirates.
Pirates are the third one.
Hey, look, man, the Pirates are good.
Last year, and then they fell off after April ended.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's exactly what happened. But wouldn't be surprised. They're going to be good eventually. They may get a wild card. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
How concerned are you if you're a David Bednar owner, and the Pirates have 5 saves, and Bednar has none of them?
I'd be pretty concerned.
Little concerned.
None of them. 5 different guys have a save for the Pirates.
A little concerned, especially with what you had to pay for him. Yeah. Aroldis. I forgot about Chapman on
he got one tonight.
The thing with the Pirates is, though, they're a really good young team. I like they're young, and Brian Hayes is healthy for once to start the season.
O'Neal Cruz
has looked really good. He's going to strike out a ton, but he's also going to make unbelievable plays and hit a lot of home runs. So
when you're 6'7", you have a very large strike zone.
He does. He reminds me of like a taller Tatis, but strikes out more. To be honest,
it's like Aaron Judge playing shortstop.
That's insane.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah,
I'm just 6'7".
Yeah, but I mean the Pirates. I mean, I don't think they're going to make the play. Obviously, their pitching rotation is in shambles. You got Quinn Priester and you have Paul Skeens that you could bring up this year, but
Skeens is not coming up this year.
You don't think he's coming up this year at all?
He pitched 6 2/3 innings after getting drafted last year. Everybody's like, he made it to AA in 4 outs. Like, cool it. There's literally 0 reason for the Pirates to bring Paul Skeens up this year. None.
Okay, Quinn Priester though, does he come up?
Yeah, he was up last year.
Yeah, he sucked though. He's on my dynasty team.
Okay,
so I'm
Mitch
just
Keller
like,
sucked, and he got a 5-year contract extension. So.
He did. What the Pirates doing, man? They gave Brian Hayes a contract extension too, and he did nothing.
I mean, he's good when he's healthy. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
but
it's insane.
I highly doubt Paul Skeens is coming up anytime before September, if at all.
Okay. Before we talk about the Seattle Mariners with Heavy T here, Matt Selz, give everybody real quick, just a quick little lay down, some of your bold predictions for this MLB season.
Well, I just laid one down that the Diamondbacks win the NL West.
Okay. Yep. We heard that one.
Bold prediction. I don't think anybody tops 95 wins in the entire league.
No 100 win teams this year. Not even okay.
I think the very good teams are going to beat each other up enough that you get not like the AL East last year. Yes, they had a 100-win team, right? Every team was over 500, and the Red Sox were bad. The Red Sox are better this year.
They are better, and they look better too, by the way.
Which means if you take and the Yankees are arguably better than they were last year. If
you have a Ted Williams on your team, you're going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, if you take another, I would say 7 wins combined between the Yankees and Red Sox against the Orioles could still win and only get to 94 wins.
That's true. And the Rays are going to be good too. The Rays are going to be a good team this year.
Right? I mean, maybe Atlanta gets there because the rest of the NL East, aside from Philly, is terrible.
They are pretty bad.
But there's injury concerns with their starting rotation. So, I don't know. Another bold take.
Who's your real quick? Who wins Cy Young?
think-
Who wins Cy Youngs?
Who wins Cy Young?
I had Justin Steele, and then he decided he wanted to lay
Yeah,
out
but
for a
he's
ground
pitching.
ball.
He's throwing already.
Is he? Ah, heavy T.
I saw a video today that he was throwing like in the outfield.
The NL Cy Young race. It isn't. There's not a lot, so I just
No, I
thought
think
he
it's
could be
probably Strider's. If Strider stays healthy, it's him.
But then
right?
still, I thought.
Hold on. Let me mention who I brought up last week. Am I crazy for saying Dylan Cease is winning Cy Young?
Well, so the mold is there because Blake Snell showed you could walk 9 bazillion people and keep them from scoring and still win the Cy Young. He set a record for most.
The Padres said, "We're not paying you, Blake Snell. We're just going to replace you with literally your Spider-Man meme."
I mean, basically, right? Except from the opposite side of the rubber.
Yeah.
Blake Snell set a record for most walks per 9 for any Cy Young winner ever.
He had a low ERA, a lot of strike, and over 200 strikes.
He had a 70-inning stretch in which he didn't allow anybody to score, and that sealed it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Dylan Cease could do it.
I wouldn't complain if he did.
If Logan Webb reproduces what he did last year, I think he's a dark horse to win the Cy Young because he was phenomenal last year and nobody gave him credit.
He was second in voting, right, last year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Second or third. AL Cy Young going to Heavy T's team, Logan Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
That's not okay. Heavy T's an Angels fan.
I know, but the guy he was going to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the ineptitude of the Seattle Mariners in his new block series.
It can't be inept right now. That roster is loaded
for now, but trust me, we'll get to it.
They've been loaded in the past, my friend, and have never won a World Series. So
yeah, I know. I'm very aware. They have 5 Hall of Famers at one time and did not win, thanks to the Yankees knocking them off. But
I'd mention that, trust. But
Gary DePoto is literally making trades from hospital beds to make sure the Mariners are in contention. So I think we're fine. But I think Logan Gilbert is a dark horse for the AL Cy Young Award.
He's their number 3.
I picked his teammate Luis Castillo to win.
He's a popular one.
Yeah. I had him last year, so I think he finally does. How hilarious
would it be if Dylan Cease wins and then George Kirby, the guy who doesn't walk anybody, turns around to win for the AL and you get polar opposites.
We love to see it.
The rotation for Seattle is no joke. There are a little bit of holes in their offensive game. I do like Jorge Polanco signing. I think he's going to be a stud there, kind of like what they thought Ty France would be until he kind of fell off the last couple of years after his huge season. So, but yeah, Seattle, I mean, obviously, you got a young superstar. You have a great pitching staff. You have one of the best young closers in all of baseball who can pitch lights out. But I don't know, when you have somebody named Calzone or whatever batting 7th.
Dominic Canzoni?
Yeah, come on.
The
Rangers are better. The Astros are better.
Yes.
So
they are. I didn't say they were going to win the division.
All right.
Rangers are winning the division because when the Rangers get healthy in the second half with their pitching staff, they have the best pitching staff in baseball.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculously crazy.
It's like you got DeGrom and Scherzer and Molly just waiting in the wings.
Ugh. Which, by the way, if because you mentioned the Astros,
yes,
the Astros are currently no-hitting the Blue Jays through 7.
Wow.
Is it a combined no-no?
It is not. Let's see. The starting pitcher, Ronel Blanco, is through 7 innings.
Oh my God.
Has only 81 pitches.
Oh my God.
Yeah, only 81 pitches. So 6 outs.
Where is Bo? Has Bo Bichette done nothing?
He's not even in the lineup.
He's not?
He's not in the lineup today.
Oh, that's why.
That is correct. He is not in the lineup.
I don't know.
Everyone else, Ofer. It looks like
he's day-to-day with something. I don't know.
If I'm reading this correctly, it looks like George Springer has walked and no one else has got on base.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he?
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. 6 months to go.
We have a no-hitter watch here on Monday Night Rants, baby. Yeah.
gonna absolute. My dad has that guy on his bench in our fantasy league.
Oh,
I don't even know who the hell he is. So
He's their fifth starter.
Okay. Very cool. Heavy T, you have a new article coming out here tonight. Sorry, I haven't gotten to it today. I've been a little busy, but I'll get it tonight. I promise.
all
We're going
good.
to preview it here on the show. So all these beautiful fellow ranters out there. You have been a couple of weeks off. I've been sick. We've been having some big shows here with the NCAA tournament and our baseball.
Yeah, I was in Houston for a week, and then it was the Sweet 16 Elite 8, and I was just like, I'll get back to it. So This week, finally got back to it.
We're going to baseball in this one, so what a perfect man to have on here. Up here is Matt Selz. Talking about the Seattle Mariners, which me growing up as a 90s kid was I'm a Ken Griffey Jr. fanatic. I have an autographed Ken Griffey Jr. ball right over here next to all my Padres balls. I have his old school retro jersey that I've had since I was a kid, where I got it as an adult size and it still fits me today. Ken Griffey Jr. was one of my favorite baseball players of all time, him and Tony Gwynn, for obvious reasons. And it was sad that they had all these players. I actually went to the Kingdome up in Seattle and saw a game there once when they had the Edgar Landing and the Jay Buhner and the Alex Rodriguez and Dan Wilson and Alex Cora, and Randy Johnson, and the old guy who played for every other team after the Mariners, Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
The team was loaded, man, and they should have at least won something, but
You
they
also
didn't.
forgot Edgar Martinez.
I said Edgar Martinez. They had the Edgar Landing, one of the best DHs of
yeah.
all time. I mean, even though I was a Padres fan and I loved myself some Tony Gwynn, and 1998 was a good year for me in Padres land, I still rooted for the Mariners. I still kind of do now because of it. Heavy T, explain to us why you decided to write on the Mariners to add to your inept franchise series, and what are some of the highlights here that we could expect from the article?
I mean, it's one really big reason. They had a 21-year playoff drought. So that'll kind of do it. From 2001, where they won 116 games, tied the major league record.
Ichiro was on that team, and that was
yes.
Between that year and 2022, they did not make the playoffs. A kid could have been born and is now of legal drinking age by the time they got back to the postseason. It's kind of astounding. I know it was a fact for a while before obviously they did make it back. But when you do a really deep dive at some of the acquisitions that they made, it's awful. So first, there's two reasons why I kind of dove into it. Number one, you have 3 Hall of Fame players played for them through that playoff drought, and they still weren't able to get to the playoffs. And that's Ichiro, Adrian Beltre, who just got in, and Felix Rodriguez, in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
See, the thing is, you look at his record.
Felix Hernandez.
Felix Hernandez, yeah, sorry. But you look at his record, and his record's not great.
It's terrible. He won a Cy Young with a losing record, I believe.
Yeah, the team that was put around him was not good. Yeah. So here's another reason why I picked them. You have to hear this quote. So between 92 and 2016, the Mariners are owned by Nintendo of America. You know, the Mario Kart, Donkey Kong people, those people, right?
Yeah.
So they're represented. Yeah. So they're represented by this guy named Howard Lincoln, right? So someone asked him why the team didn't make trade deadline deals in 2002 when they were making a push back to the playoffs. This is what he said, word for word. The goal of the Mariners is not to win a World Series. It is to field a competitive team year after year to put itself in a position to win a World Series and hope at some point that happens. That is
an all-time word salad.
That is,
yeah, like crazy. Honestly, and I make a joke in here that if I'm a stadium or if I'm a fan and my owner outright said that, I would burn the stadium to the ground. Like, I would be livid. And only because we don't have social media back in 2002 is why this quote kind of
we had MySpace. We had MySpace. I had my top 5, and I had all the gifts, everything going down my thing that made it slowly run.
What
I
was
had
your
it all.
soundtrack?
Oh, I had some metal. I was all some Godsmack. I don't know, some Metallica.
Oh man! But like, I'll give you 2 acquisitions that they made because I have a bunch of examples in here.
Yeah.
But I will give you 2 acquisitions that they made that were just downright awful. Number 1,
the Cano contract. The Cano contract was bad.
Which one?
The Cano contract was bad.
So, okay, you know what? We'll go with one of them, and it's kind of Cano. So the Cano contract wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as
it
seems. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he is mentioned in this because he was involved in the trade for Jared Kalenic. Kalenic was supposed to be the new face of baseball. He was the number 1 prospect in 2020. So they trade Cano to the Mets for Kalenic and a couple other players. And on top of that, they send a bunch of money with Cano.
Yep. Well,
and
there was a bunch to send.
And they sent one other player to the Mets along with Cano.
It was Edwin Diaz?
And that player was Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz.
Who, by the way, this literally tells you how bad of a trade this was because it didn't make sense to trade Diaz away. Diaz with the Mariners had already had over 100 saves, was already an all-star, and had already received Cy Young votes while he was in Seattle.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah, and they decided to just get rid of him. And Kalenic, by the way, was a disaster, is no longer in Seattle, and has since been traded to Atlanta to try and revive his career.
Terrible last year.
Kalenic
wasn't terrible last year.
He wasn't great. He wasn't the number 1 prospect.
He hit 11 homers, stole 13 bags, hit 260. It's not number 1 prospect, but it's not terrible.
That's far from number 1 prospect, my friend.
That's not even it's not even top 100 prospect.
That's utility player written all over it.
But for a guy who's like, all he does is strike out, that's not a terrible stat line.
How many strikeouts he had last year?
I mean, the entire Seattle team had a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, they always do. That is true. Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez struck out more than Kalenic.
Well, yeah, but he's also played every day and in the lineup.
Although he was hurt. Nobody notices is because he almost went 30-30.
Yeah.
So I'll bring up another example.
Okay.
This one, we're going to turn back the clock almost 20 years. 2005 season. They sign who was a very decent player, Richie Sexton. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Yep.
But he was pretty solid.
How could I forget Richie Sexton?
Power hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was actually pretty solid, right? So they bring him in 2005. He signs a 4-year deal. No hitter watch still on, by the way. 5 outs to go. Yeah. So Richie Sexton comes in, signs a 4-year deal, $50 million. He's a power hitter. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first 2 seasons, it actually kind of works out. 73 home runs, 228 RBIs, 303 hits. Okay, that's fairly decent. The next season, 2007, falls off a cliff. 89 hits, 63 RBIs, 21 home runs. On top of that, during his entire Mariners tenure, this dude struck out 23% of the time.
Oh.
It's awful. So basically, they got the first half right, didn't make the playoffs, and then he sucked the second half. He got let go in the middle of the last year of the contract.
And what is he doing now? Nothing.
That's a good question. I do not know.
He's working at Chase with our boy Taj McGowan.
Probably.
Is it better than Ric Flair, who's hawking knockoff Viagra pills now?
Hey! Give the legend some love, man. Come on now. Come on.
I think he's finding ways to get it.
Give it some love. So Seattle Mariners Inept franchise series will be out later tonight. Once I get it up for tomorrow, we'll do all the same social media promotion and whatnot. It's a good read. I did run through it. I've already edited it. I just haven't posted it yet. I will post it on minorrants.com. We'll get it out there. It's a lot of fun because especially if you're like me and a 90s baseball kid who was huge with the Ken Griffey era and all that, it's kind of interesting to see like how they went from that to literally shittier and literally nothing to come from. You had Randy Johnson. You had Jamie Moyer in his prime.
You had Ichiro, who won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP in the same year.
Ichiro.
Yeah, and keep
Griffey
in mind,
Jr.
Keep in mind, those 3 Hall of Famers that they had during this stretch where they didn't make it, Felix Hernandez, Adrian Belcher, Ichiro, those dudes played together for 5 years.
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't make the playoffs. I think I put it in here. The highest amount of wins they got, give me 1 second. The highest amount of wins they earned was somewhere in the 80s. I think it was like 87.
Yeah,
something
they were
like
close one year, but came up like a couple games short.
Yeah, the wild card. I think that was the year the A's outdid them.
Yeah, so the A's in the middle.
The Moneyball A's.
I mean, you want to talk about how bad this franchise has been. I'll read this one paragraph that's towards the beginning, so nothing super spoilery.
Okay.
It didn't help that every team in the AL West would go on to have massive success during the Mariners drought. In 2002, the Angels would steal the wild card spot away from Seattle, go on to win the World Series. The Astros would leave the National League, join the American League West Division, and have a massively successful run of 7 straight ALCS appearances, 4 World Series appearances, and 2 World Series victories in 17 and 22. The Rangers went on a few runs to the World Series in 10 and 11 and won it all in 24. Hell, even the Oakland A's would gain fame due to their Moneyball ways by having a book written about it and a movie as well. And by the way, they made a run to the ALCS in 2006, proving that Moneyball wasn't a joke. Meanwhile, Seattle is doing nothing of relevance. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's so true. And here we are with the A's not even knowing how to work with their best player and sending him to AAA today after 4 games.
Good. Oh my God. Like, I'm glad I'm out of time and I don't get to talk about that because
here's how you know the A's are terribly run. They do not allow comments.
Yeah.
No.
Like there's if you go to their Twitter,
they don't want to get ratioed. They don't want to get ratioed.
Yeah, if you go to Twitter, they have it where like, oh, only people who the A's are following can reply.
Yeah, only if they mention them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So they never at people in their tweets because then it would allow them to respond, and then people could respond to that. So they never.
And you know that is straight up a John Fisher gag order.
Oh,
100%.
110%.
Also, real quick, speaking of the AOS, Astros 3 outs away from.
I was just gonna mention it. 3 outs away right now. We're at the mid of the 8th, and 3 outs away from a no hitter.
So
he's still in the game.
Toronto's really working.
Yeah, Blanco is still only at 91 pitches, so he's probably going to.
They're going to let him go. Yeah, they're going to let him go. How many strikeouts? He's
not going to pull a Maddox, but
he has 7 Ks, 1 walk.
7 Ks, 1 walk. Wow.
And the Astros do not have an error, so that George Springer walk was the only base runner.
The only base runner.
Is he leading off?
Let me see real quick. It looks like up next it's going to be Kiner Falefa, Calvin Biggio, and then George Springer.
Ooh, so 1-2. So he'll come down to the last out because he's going to get Kiner Falefa.
So here's the thing. It's a little poetic because you're going to get Kiner Falefa and Biggio.
God.
It's a little poetic.
Off the game with a walk.
Wait, who did?
Top
Atlanta?
1. Springer led off with a
Springer, yeah.
No, that was the first. He was the first batter of the game.
Yeah, he was leading off for the Blue Jays.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. It was a walk.
First pitch,
but ironically,
then it says George Springer walk, and he's gone 27 up. Or 24 up. 24.
But ironically, it is poetic because you would have Kiner Falefa first if you get him out. Then you have Biggio second, and it comes back to Springer. And where is this game? It's at Minute Maid Park, where his career started.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to turn this on right now because the UConn USC game. I don't know. After the Caden Clark thing, I don't really. This game doesn't.
Which real quick before I go, I will say real quick. Shout out to Iowa. That game was phenomenal.
Yeah, she went off in the second half. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, I know people saw that Angel Reese had put a crown on the LSU bench before the game. I'm personally fine with that. I wouldn't have done it because I don't do bulletin board material stuff. I don't have a problem with anything that Angel Reese really does. It's
No.
anything that Kim Mulkey does that I have a problem with. I hate
They
that
left LSU was not on the court for the national anthem.
That's probably a Mulkey thing. I'll be honest.
Angel Reese went 20 and 17. Caitlin Clark went 41 with 12 assists. So
that whole LSU team is you cannot root for that LSU team.
Well, we don't have to anymore. You know why? Because they gone.
I know. But they got into that brawl a couple of weeks ago, and everybody's like, "Look at Angel Reese avoiding the melee because she's smarter." I'm like, "No, she's the one that."
We don't call them brawls here on Monday Rants. We call them cat fights, Matthew Selz.
I mean, there were full on swings, so I'm calling it a brawl because somebody got swung on.
They got nails. It's still a cat fight.
Well, real quick,
started it by pulling the hair and then walking away like.
Just lost a viewer after I said that. I don't care.
Like Rashi Rice in an incident.
Real quick, just as LSU is gone, I am also gone, boys.
All right, Heavy T. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
next week we'll be here.
Or more. Will you be live from the FanDuel studios next week again?
I will be. Yes.
Okay. We got to make the cut, but we'll worry about that later. Heavy T, everybody, at Heavy T on air. Our boy of the inept franchise series, Seattle Mariners. I'll have that up as soon as we end this show in a couple minutes here. So. All right, we love you, brother. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Enjoy your night.
Dude, that sucks. He walked him the first.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, see, Heavy T works at FanDuel now, so he works on Mondays. So we have to bring him in from like some random break room.
Well, that works.
It works.
But man, he walked him the first freaking ball.
Hey, a no-hitter still a no-hitter, whichever way you...
I want to know if he got hosed on that call, though.
We'll have to go back and watch it. Actually, you can go back on the...
they're decidedly... It was a 5-pitch walk, and 4 of them were clearly out of the zone.
Yeah, I'm on the game day right now. I can see it. Yeah, it was a walk. He was getting his nerves out of the way before he threw a no-hitter.
Well, it's not over yet, but... By the way, what a way for the Astros to get their first win of the year.
And they're 0-4. Yeah. A no-hitter. Yeah. Well, if they do, we got
they're in last place in the AL West.
Okay, still young season, but yes.
They are in last place in the AL West.
They are behind the Angels.
They are behind the A's.
Oh, wow. It's even worse. The AL West is not as good as it used to be, is it?
Well, there's 3 good teams in there.
We have some... Well,
it's not as bad as the AL Central.
I think a home run just happened too. Oh no, out. Never mind. Some good news here. This week on the NASCAR podcast for Fantasy Alarm, I will be filling in for our boy Dan Malin. So people can get more of me this week on Fantasy Alarm on the YouTube discussing the NASCAR race. I'm not gonna lie to you, the NASCAR race last night was a little boring.
Until the end, when
the end got a little bit excited when the overtime happened. Like, okay, and then Hamlin came in and said, "I got this, boys."
Wait a minute, how many?
Yeah, I think we're here, right?
Just grounded out.
Yeah, so did Isaiah Kinnear-Falafia. So now we're already at 2 outs.
Yeah, we're already at 2 outs, and Springer is coming up.
Yeah, because the man. How many pitches did the Houston Astros get out of that 8th? Holy crap. That was quick.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
So now we have so now here we are. We have 2 outs away. The 1 out away.
It's a 2-0 count to Springer.
It's a 2-0 count to Springer.
He's gonna walk Springer again to build up the suspense.
Nope. There's a strike right there. So it's a swinging strike. So it's 2-1.
Literally following the game day on MLB.com.
Yeah, we're living this no-hitter out in real life before we call it a merry night here. Monday Night Rants. Well, a no-hitter happened on the show. It'll be the first time it's ever happened. So we're playing it out, people. The Houston Astros up 10-0 right now in the top of the 9th over the Toronto Blue Jays. It's currently 3-1 against George Springer.
Who started for the Blue Jays tonight?
And
Francis. Yeah, that would.
This pitcher that I've never heard of until tonight. Matt knows him, obviously, of course. Blanco is 1 out away. But it's a 3-1 count here against Jordan Springer, who opened the game off with a walk.
Yeah.
And he's put down.
To get walked again.
And yeah, about to get one. Oh, no. Full count. Full count, baby. Full count here on Monday Night Rants. Will there be a no-hitter? The first ever no-hitter on Monday Night Rants. We're going to find out right now before we call it a merry evening and let you go on your merry way this Monday. Oh,
Walked
you
him.
walked him. You walked him. 2 walks for George Springer. Matt, Final Four. Who do you have winning the national championship?
I have UConn.
Okay.
I think they just look spectacular.
Yep. I have Purdue, and I picked them from day one, from the beginning of the tournament. They remind me a lot.
Is a problem.
But they remind me a lot of what Virginia did when they lost to a 16 seed and came back the next year and won the whole damn thing.
That's true. The 2019. That's the only 6 postseason wins the Cavaliers have in the last 7 seasons.
That is 100% true.
They won 6 in a row to win a natty, and peace out.
So, how's your? This is your first real
mound visit.
Yeah, this is your first real season doing soccer, following soccer along with me. I've been a soccer fan for quite a long time. How's it going? And why do you choose crappy teams?
Well, Tottenham is Spursy, but they're not crappy.
Oh yeah, but not in Forest.
Their
they
bad
look like
mojo though spreads to other countries though apparently because Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich and now they didn't win the title for the first time in 11 years.
Yeah, well, that's because the German league's unwatchable, but that's a whole other story.
Well, okay. I mean,
so you told me before we started the show here, another ball. Wait, he's 1-1 here. Okay, so you said you were gonna get the MLS League Pass, so you're that into it. Where you're looking at MLS. I'm telling you, most of the MLS games are free on ESPN Plus.
Yes. Well,
so
some of them.
So what's your Major League Soccer team, Matt Selz?
So my kids, they're the ones who really kind of want to go into MLS because they want to follow teams that are closer. Like they watch Tottenham with me. They watch my other teams, Nottingham Forest. They were rooting for Liverpool Sunday morning.
I like your kids.
I mean,
in a non-P Diddy way. It is. We have it. A no-hitter. A no-hitter on Monday Night Rants. The Astros and our boy, our new favorite player, Ronel Blanco, has no hit the Toronto Blue Jays at Minute Maid Park. The first no-hitter of 2024 live on Monday Night Rants. Man, this is awesome. Hell yeah. Round of applause.
No runs.
Round of applause for Ronel Blanco. A no-hitter. A no-hitter on Monday night.
And here's the best part. If you play George Springer in DFS, he still got you a decent amount of points.
If you played George Springer, he was the only player you could have played from Toronto. And I'm sure a lot of people actually kind of stacked this game too on both sides of them.
Yeah, because the pitching matchup wasn't supposed to be great.
And it was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. who grounded out to lose
the
hit streak. No-hitter! All right, Matt Selz, tell everybody where to find you, what's going on, and when they can catch us together doing the NASCAR podcast this week.
So you can catch my stuff on fantasyalarm.com. You can catch my stuff on X, Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it. I had a pretty decent betting week for props last week.
Yeah, you did.
Almost hit the MTJ bet until Denny Hamlin decided to cheat his teammate out of the win.
I know.
And then admitted on a podcast. Yeah,
that's what he does.
Basically admitted it on his podcast, which he recorded 2 hours after the race ended.
That's Denny Hamlin, baby. That's why he's everyone's favorite driver.
He knew nothing was going to happen to him, so he admitted he cheated. Why not? You can find, if you subscribe to Fantasy Alarm, you can find my stuff in Discord. Answer questions for you, help you set up lineups. We had a pretty good week at Richmond. Won a couple.
You did.
Folks.
I thought Bowman with top 10 was no brainer, but he had some engine troubles and that kind of cost him in the end. But
yeah,
it's okay.
Truex almost fell out of the top 5, but
yeah, we got Martinsville this week.
We do. It's named after him.
You know who the last driver was to win at Martinsville?
The last driver, Christopher Bell.
Nope, his name is Ryan Blaney, baby. Playoffs.
Oh, nicely done.
So let's go. Let's go. The perfect week for me to be on the podcast. That podcast will be out.
That's all he's going to play. He's going to play 6 Ryan Blaney's, and he doesn't care about anything.
When are we recording this, and when will it come out?
We'll probably record Thursday night.
Perfect. That works.
Thursday evening. It'll be out Friday morning.
Sweet.
I'm also covering the Xfinity Playbook for our boy Dan Malin.
Fun.
So I'm going to have that right up. That race is Saturday night at Martinsville, and then the Cup race is Sunday afternoon. So there's that. Getting back to the soccer, look, to make some more friends and whatnot, I decided to get into some soccer.
To make some more friends, you got to do
Well,
soccer.
like you like soccer. A bunch of my colleagues are.
You're already my friend, buddy. You don't need to.
I know, but like I got you into NASCAR, so I figure I'd return the favor.
I'm getting you into soccer. I love it.
Watch some soccer. One of my kids' best friends, their dad is big into soccer. His dad was a Norwich season ticket holder for a while.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, back when they were like really yo-yoing
Yeah.
between Championship and Premier League.
Love
He's
that.
still a Norwich fan, but his allegiance is to Chelsea at this point.
Boo.
Is what it is. So I started watching it and then picked Tottenham because I like the style of play. And my kids like James Madison and Son. So
Yeah, Song's a likable character.
And then my other team, Nottingham Forest, who's battling for to not be relegated, sold a guy to Tottenham, Brennan Johnson, who I think should be playing.
Oh yeah. And the goalie for Nottingham Forest, his name's Matt Selz.
He is now. Yes, their other goalie is Matt Turner, the number 1 for the national team.
Yeah, for America.
But yes, now I am the goalie for Nottingham Forest. His name is Matt Selz.
So I watched the Liverpool game.
He was making all sorts of saves, and
it's like Matt Selz. Like, dude, could you stop making all these saves? I texted you that morning. It was fun. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So what's your MLS team then? What you said?
So
I'm a Portland Timbers fan.
So, I grew up in the DC area, and I kind of tangentially followed DC United back in their original heyday.
They were the ones who actually originated that beer steak thing. Was
the
DC MLS team. Soccer.
Yeah, they played at RFK originally,
yep.
Which obviously I went to for Nats games when they first became a team. They played at RFK. So I was aware that, the history of DC United and whatnot. And then you get to the Freddie Adu years, which did not work out very well. Signing a 14-year-old to play professional soccer couldn't have. Did not work out
in the United States of America.
And then I've been out in the Midwest for a while, so I kind of followed Sporting KC.
Okay.
For a while since they've been called like the Wiz.
Yeah. Right. Well, they used to be the Wizards or whatever. They were the
they started out as the Wiz, and then they went to the Wizards, and then they went to Sporting KC.
Yep.
And then there was a whole debacle with Livestrong Park that the sponsorship didn't work so well because that was Lance Armstrong's thing.
They cheated. Yeah.
Well, Lance did, not Livestrong. Anyway,
I'm joking.
So I tend to go for proximity with these things, so I'm going with Sporting KC.
Okay.
But my daughters they're kind of waffling between DC United and Sporting KC.
After you watch a morning of Premier League soccer. Yes, I'm just telling you this, and everyone watching it right now. And then you watch the MLS. It is the most frustrating thing ever.
I agree, but
in the world.
I don't know. It's
the level of competition and the skill is so different. It is.
Yeah. But my kid wants to watch soccer. She enjoys it. And so this will float between the two because like MLS goes over the summer.
Yeah.
Premier League ends in the, so we'll see.
There you go. Yeah. Love it.
I know, she likes hockey too. We watch a lot of hockey.
That's cool too. See, my daughter will watch Liverpool games with me in the morning. She loves it. She plays soccer already. She's 4. She's about to be 5. She scored 19 goals last season. That's at 4.
Watch out, Man City's calling.
She's coming, baby. And now she wants to play basketball. She's into basketball.
I mean, my kid wanted to play. She wants to play softball. She wants to do.
She's never into baseball. I think she does gymnastics now. So she's doing soccer and gymnastics now.
Yeah, my 10-year-old wants to do. She's like a beanpole. She wants to do hockey. I'm like, you're gonna get just
do it. Why not? Yeah. Hey.
She also was very interesting.
Baseball's too slow for my daughter. Baseball's too slow. Too much standing around. She likes to be soccer, basketball, doing stuff and tumbling and running and stuff.
So, I don't know.
Let the kids play, everybody. My fellow ranters out there, let your kids play whatever they want until they don't want to do it anymore, and then put them in something else.
And don't force them. Like my kid's love of hockey was natural. Like she just we were watching it, right? Because the Caps won
I played hockey when I was young. I loved it.
The Caps won a Stanley Cup when she was 3 years old. First Stanley Cup they've ever one happens in my kid's lifetime. So saved her 30 plus years of
Anaheim Mighty Ducks right back here. Ryan gets that, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. So we were watching it and she's like, this looks awesome. And she's just continued to watch it. But if she doesn't like baseball, so I don't.
Has she been to a live hockey game?
No,
that isn't like AAA or like AHL, whatever that was called. You got to take her.
I know.
A live hockey game is an experience like no other.
I've been to live hockey games. The speed of that game is insane.
It's the energy, like everything about it is just so much fun, and I do recommend. I've seen the Ducks play in Anaheim at the Pond. We used to have for a long time a AAA hockey team here called the Fresno Falcons that I went to all the time. It's just. And now it's the Fresno Monsters.
We have like a college league,
yeah,
like a college summer league team.
It is so much fun and one of the best live sporting events you can go to. Even if your hockey team is absolutely trash, it is still fun. Like,
go and watch the athleticism of the refs, man. Those guys are insane.
Yeah, they're going for it. And no, it's just a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. No matter if they're boys or girls.
Yeah, I went to
doing that.
I interned for a sporting organization in Kansas City when I was in college, and we helped put on a preseason game at the Sprint Center.
Nice.
To kind of build fanfare for maybe KC could get a hockey team, right? They used to have a hockey team and then they moved.
Yeah.
And the preseason game was the Penguins Kings. Right between that transition where it went from like Penguins winning everything to like the Kings winning stuff. It was right in that transition. Unfortunately, didn't get to see Sidney Crosby because he was still out with a concussion. But, seeing a lot of talent. And, man, I was like 7 rows from the ice. Man, are those guys flying.
They fly. It's fun.
And they're
huge.
The
game is, they're huge. Yeah, they're huge. Corn-fed Canadians is what that's what they are.
Russians. One of the
or that or Swedish or whatever. But no, it's a lot of fun. Right out the half, it's 33-33 all tied up. UConn, USC, just like the Iowa and LSU game was tied at the half as well. So kind of rooting for USC a little bit last year in the Pac-12. We'll see what happens with that. But Iowa's in. Matt Selz, we will see you Thursday when I am on the podcast for NASCAR. I'll give my bets. Good luck in your NCAA tournament bets or whatever you got going on and your fantasy baseball games. I already got hit with the Royce Lewis bug and the Justin Steele bug in my injury, so I'm sad.
Steele will be back way before Royce Lewis. So
boo. Royce Lewis got the Twins just find these superstars that just are always hurt.
I said this on this week's Fantasy Alarm MLB pod, which is out today, actually. So go listen.
Check it out. Fantasy Alarm YouTube, youtube.com.
Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis are the Spider-Man meme.
Jesus Christ.
Because they're the same caliber of dude. Like
they are.
Go 30-30, but they're never on the field long enough to go 30-30.
It's fair. I fell into it and I drafted him. It's okay though. I got good backups. Also have Estherese Ruiz in that league. Okay, so all right, man. Well, we'll see you Thursday, everyone. NASCAR podcast with me and Matt will be up on Friday on fantasyalarm.com, and then we do the video. Is there a video portion of it on YouTube and stuff on Sunday as well?
The whole thing is on. Yeah, you can watch the whole video. Like the whole thing's recorded. You'll see our lovely mugs on there the whole time.
I'm gonna wear an outstanding outfit. Let's put it that way. So
grill versus grill, we got to figure that out too.
Oh yeah, we got grill versus grill Martinsville. We got to figure that one out too. I think our Easter one was pretty good.
Back to back Virginia races, man. I'm running out of Virginia cuisine.
I know what do we do.
I'm from this state, but like there's not a lot.
We should just both do ribs this week.
That's fine. My daughter went nuts. I made her pork ribs the other week, and she ate a half a rack by herself.
There you go. Let's just do that. Let's do ribs. I just went to Costco, bought a whole bunch of them anyway, so I already have them. So,
by the way, beef ribs are delicious, but I ain't paying that price.
Hell no, dude. Right now, chicken and pork is where the money is at when it comes to meat. Chicken's hella cheap and pork is hella cheap right now. Beef is ridiculous. A tri-tip is stupid.
But
stupid. The price of a tri-tip.
Though. You feel like an actual caveman eating a beef rib.
No, nothing feels more like a caveman than a tomahawk steak. That is
You can't pick up a tomahawk steak and eat it like a gigantic meat lollipop.
You have never met me, my friend, because I have. And I will again when the prices could go down and beef is cheap and chicken is expensive as hell.
You live near the farming communities. Just go shoot a cow.
I don't live near the farming community. I live in the farming community.
Yeah, go shoot a cow, man. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. It ain't that far. I got fields.
However,
literally in
all
that
the cows here are owned by somebody. They've already been claimed. You can't just go shoot cows here. They all have tags on their ears.
I disagree.
I bet I could find one.
Somebody's not going to notice they're missing.
Yeah, right.
Reminded me like when K-State played KU, we would spray paint live chickens because we would spray paint them red and blue because they look like a Jayhawk, right? And so when KU played at K-State student section would unleash live chickens during KU's introductions because it's a tradition as a college thing, right? Makes the front page of USA Today one year because PETA happened to be watching and they sent a very nasty letter to K-State. And my mom's first question was, where'd you get the chickens? Like, you've been to Manhattan, Kansas. The whole thing is a freaking farm. Like, it's not hard to find live chickens at an ag school.
The only place that's easier to find live chickens is just walking around Hawaii. That's for sure.
Yeah.
where they're roadkill.
Wild chickens.
It's insane. All right, my friend. I love you, brother. Thanks for joining us tonight. Filling the void. You did great. We heard your baseball bowl predictions. We talked about baseball. We talked about soccer. We talked about NASCAR. We talked about chickens. I think we got to call it tonight. What do you say?
Works for me. I got more, according to you, terrible soccer teams to go follow. So
that's right. That's right. From myself, from Heavy T on air, from my boy over here, Matt Selz. We'll have him on again soon. Trust me, we always will. From everyone at Fantasy Alarm and the NASCAR and baseball and everyone over there at Better Sports Network, we say have a merry night. Enjoy the rest of the USC UConn game. Enjoy the rest of baseball. Enjoy the baseball season. Enjoy the summer. For myself, Matt Selz, Heavy T, everyone here at the Better Sports Network. Until next time, a big shout out, and I mean a huge shout out to my boy, Taj McGowan. We'll see you next week, my fellow ranters.